It is now 7:34. I call this meeting the RTM Finance and Budget Committee together. We're going to be discussing the budget today. Before we get into some of the budget numbers, I do want to talk about one of the things that I'm going to be opening with. And you're going to see some of the numbers have changed, which I'll explain. But the mill rate increase isn't 5.5. It's going to end up being 5.36. And I want to say that's not an aberration. Investment income is down from prior years. We've changed the growth on the grand list is 50 basis points. The addition of the change in the depreciation changed it to 76 basis points. But we're not going to see 1% or more grand list growth, which we used to have. Building fees are down, and we're going to go through all these things. But we used to take 25 basis points to account for changes that may occur or give us some extra cushion on the collection rate for the taxes. That's now down to 5 basis points. That change alone is about 500,000 of extra funds. The ban that's currently 49 million will be converted to long-term debt. We're paying about 3% on the ban and 4 1/8 on the long-term debt. So that's about an $800,000 increase before we even get into the fact that we haven't been paying principal on most of the bonds that we've issued because we take the first 2 years as interest only. 4% operating budgets look like they're going to continue. Medical expense is going to be up. So anybody who says that a 5.5% increase in our mill rate is an aberration isn't really dealing with the facts. A 4 to 5% increase in the mill rate will not be unexpected in our coming years. Last year, when I opened up to give our report, I said that if we thought that fiscal year 24 was hard, we thought that fiscal year 25 was going to be even harder. And so I like being able to say things when we get right. Once we get wrong, mention. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce what we're doing. I'm going to ask for a motion for somebody to move and second. And then from there, we'll have a brief conversation and vote on it. So the first action item that we have is discuss and take action on 2513, appropriation of $3 million from the unassigned fund balance. And at this time, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, and now I have to get back to the one. Hold on a second. All right, I'm going to have to do this individually each time. Hold on. Okay, so this is the first part of the sharing. We start out with a general fund of about 33.8 million. We had one reduction of it, which was 2439 for paying for the police facilities. When the Board of Finance reviewed this budget, projected revenue surplus was about 1.8 million. Projected town expense surplus was 1.1 million, and the projected Board of Ed expense surplus was 460. It's now down to about 430. That generated about $3,331,000 of incremental funds coming in. That allowed us to be at 20% of what our expenses are by taking the $3 million off to transfer to the capital account that would have otherwise been paid by taxes. We're still at 18.5, which is well above where we're looking to go to. The reasons for it on the expenditures, there was a lot of vacancies throughout, not just the police department, significant contingencies that we did not use, some FTE that wasn't hired. We'd had some negatives, being that the town council was high on the revenue side. We actually collected significant more taxes. Our collection rate went from 99.73 to 99.75. So that was an increase of 2 basis points. And we had a significant collection on the, the motor vehicles. We also collected more on the telecom, interest rates and liens, because we collected back taxes, was significant. Town clerk overall was up. Tipping fees, which for the offset on the payments, was up about 500,000. Investment income, which in the past has been almost $1 million increase, was down to about 300. We also saw decreases in building permits, intergovernmental, because the 75,000 we were going to get on the sales tax sharing didn't come, and there were some other minor miscellaneous areas. So this is a transfer that goes into the reserve fund, and it reduces the amount that will be collected by taxes. So I need somebody to move that.
I'll move it.
I have Charles moving. Do I have a second? I have
Second.
Bill Dunn. Is there any other discussion on this or questions? If not, this is where I'm going to ask. Beth, do you have, can you see everybody on the screen?
No, all I can see is your shared screen.
Oh, okay. So let's see if I can get rid of that.
Oh, wait. I figured out how to do it. That took a minute, but I figured out how to do it.
Yeah, hit gallery.
Yeah. All right. I'm now in gallery.
Okay. They were there. So all those in favor of approving the transfer of $3 million, raise your hand. Louisa, say yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that's unanimous. Okay, now we're going to go to the next one, which is discuss and take action on the appropriation to approve the capital plan, improvement plan as presented for the 2026 proposed budget. This is an interesting document. It's there simply to say towns have a capital plan. If you noticed, a lot of the items have 1,000 zeros, and in the old days, we would call it a swag, which is a scientific wild butt guess. And it doesn't represent everything that's there. So the improvements of potential new sidewalks based upon the study that's going to go on isn't there. Nothing's in there for Great Island. The dredging of the channel isn't in there. And I'll even remind people that when the Hanson Road Bridge project came up, that wasn't in there either when it was first there. So this is just sort of necessary placeholders. But the real thing is looking on fiscal year 26 And I sent out the corrected version. We found that there were certain things not adopted properly, and so they were corrected by Jen. And so, as again, all we're doing is voting that the town has a plan. We're not voting on any of these items. Doesn't guarantee that we will vote on them or any of them will pass. Each one of these has to pass either in a budget or on a separate resolution to have that. So I need somebody to move that. I have Beth moving. I have Mike seconding. If we're ready to vote, is there any questions on that? There were some questions over Public Works because they didn't like that we didn't have new sidewalks in there, but we don't know what's coming out of that study, and that's why they're not in. If there are no questions, are we ready to vote? If we're ready to vote, raise your hand.
Yes.
Thank you, Louisa. So we got that one done. Okay, so now I'll go back to sharing screen. Okay, so this is the capital of what we have, and I've done it for the last couple of years. So you see what was adopted, town side, and what we're proposing. There's a significant change in the capital for the town. The school really isn't asking a lot on capital. And that's primarily because we're building all the new schools. There shouldn't be a lot of capital requests there. Each of the standing committees will be reviewing the capital for their area. Let's see, move this. Also, what I do on this section here, in the capital account, there's a contingency, which is controlled by the Board of Finance. It takes the overs and unders and allows them to do some minor things. So it replenished some ARPA projects. The closeouts of completed projects added about $320,000. There's some more recent reductions based upon the Freightliner truck had additional costs, and there was some additional costs with the Mather HVAC. And so at the end of June, it's anticipated that they will have a balance of $470,000. I give that only for information purposes. In the past, some of those funds have in fact been have been used to pay down the capital, but we're this again. But we're back to voting on the $6,180,250 for the appropriation in the reserve fund for capital non-occurring expenditures. That amount does not include the Weed Beach Meadow project, which is currently listed for $2 million. Pear Tree Parking Lot and Boat Basin, which is currently listed for about $6 million, and a new fire engine that will be coming later. It's $6 million because that was the last budget one that they have. They should be having the Weed Beach bids coming back by May 8th, and I anticipate we'll be dealing with that off cycle. But that's not included in the $6 million. So we're going to approve, the purpose is to approve the appropriation for the full $6 million. And then we'll see that when we're doing our tax collection, we're going to be collecting less because the $3 million that we just approved is going to offset the $6 million on total capital. So I need somebody to move that. Wait, let me put that down so I can see.
Removed.
Okay, I have Pierre moving. Holly seconding. Are there any questions? Seeing none, are we ready to vote? Okay, raise your hand, all in favor.
All in favor, yes.
Thank you. All right. Now we're going to go to the various operating budgets. And so for us, it's discuss and take action on 2514C, which is the Selectmen's budget. So let me share again the screen. I'm going to go to something else. Okay. We actually vote in F&B. We vote separately on the town operations, the library grant, and debt service, and then on the total amount of 58 million. So first, let's talk about the town. Is there any comments on the town side that anybody wants to make? It's up 4.4 on that. No questions? Okay. On the library grant, Pierre and Louisa, I have a favor to ask.
Yes,
So can the two of you come back to me with like 2 paragraphs on the library grant? Because F&B is responsible for reporting on it. So if you show me those 2 paragraphs, then we can toss a coin and one of the two of you will make that report so I don't have to report on the whole thing.
yes. When do you need it? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow's Wednesday, Thursday works. Is
Okay.
that impossible?
No, that's good. And we'll be in touch with Per.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect.
Louisa, have you done this before?
What?
I did it before and then I saw Jack's one, so I think we're okay.
All right.
Yeah, Louisa has done this before.
I will follow her lead. How's that?
I will touch base with you tomorrow.
Okay. I'm around tomorrow.
So,
Okay.
yeah, because I'm trying to see if we can't, instead of, I'll talk about the general administration because there's not a lot there and give the overview. But then again, each of the standing committees will be giving a report on their section of the operating budget. So there's not a lot that we really have to do on this. We're just looking at the high area and go. F&B will be discussing debt, and I'll get to that. But can we first have a motion to approve the Board of Selectmen operating budget for 38,053,825? Need somebody to move it. I have Charles T. And second, I have Pierre. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Yes.
Thank you. Then the next is to discuss and take action on the library grant of 4,689,950. Need somebody to move that.
So moved.
I have Mike and I have Bill Dunn. Is there any discussion on that? They have a really good budget every year. So are we ready to vote on that? If so, everybody raise their hand.
Yes.
Okay, and that passes unanimously. And now I'm going to go into debt. I'm just going to share a couple of things. Let's see. Just so you see what we do have in the report. I'll be sharing what the growth in the various departments are. General government is ours, which has a slight increase. Land use will be discussed by Amy. Community and Park and Rec will be done by Adele and Park and Rec. We will touch base on general overhead and the transfer of the Great Island Fund. Obviously, Public Works and Human Services, Police will be done by their respective committees.
Hey, Jack.
Yeah,
Laura Peschgray is texting me. She got disconnected somehow and is trying to dial in, and the dial in number is not working.
oh, let's see if I can go back to. Okay, let me get done with this part first and see if I can. Uh,
There's two different numbers. Which one is she trying? Both?
yeah,
Let me ask her. Okay, I just texted her. I will, when I hear something back, I will let you know.
yeah, because I don't see her as calling in at this stage. But
Yeah,
okay,
and she was here earlier with video.
right, I saw. Okay. Um, so this shows the library budget, which will be up there when you guys are discussing the library. And I'm going to go to debt. So I did some analysis on the debt, and what's happened is that, as you know, we've had a significant increase in our debt one year to the other, um, and total debt increase is 24%. At this time, the school represents 52% of the debt. The town is 46%, and the sewer is about 1.4, with the understanding that any of sewer debt is paid by the sewer fund based upon the collections from all of us who are hooked up to the sewer. I went back to fiscal year 22 just so that you could see the growth in the school, town, and sewer debt. From fiscal year 22 to fiscal year 26, the compound annual growth rate for the school debt is 9.75. For the town, it's 10.35, and actually the sewer has gone down. I anticipate that the school debt is going to significantly increase, because we haven't even gotten done with most of the HHR. And even on the Ox Ridge, we're only first paying some of the uh, the principal off. This is one of the charts that I'm currently working on. So uh, in the past, we show a chart, and this is really long-term. The first three columns are long-term debt. And the outstanding is the outstanding for long-term debt. Got her. She's in. So included in the authorized but unissued is the 49 million in the bond anticipation note that we've been rolling over. Next year, that 49 million is going to be long-term debt. We've sort of run out of the amount of times that we can do this. So when we're really looking at what fiscal 27 will be, while this is showing that there will be some decrease because we're paying things off of about 6 to 7 million, we're also going to see that jump by $49 million in this reduced, not counting any of the other projects that are there. So, as I said, we have 49 million of bond anticipation note, and the rest is HHR, fire engines, the Norotan Heights retaining wall, and all the other projects that we've approved but haven't yet implemented. So that gives you a rundown in the debt. So I'm gonna stop the share. So are we ready to move the approval of the debt? So I need somebody to move. I have Charles P. I need a second. I have Beth. I almost said Charlotte. All right. Is there any other questions on the debt? If not, we can vote. Are we ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. Laura, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, fine.
This is Laura
That's
saying
approved.
aye.
Thank you. I'm not telling you how to vote. You could say nay. I just wanted to hear your voice.
Okay.
Okay, so we add the three of those up and we need to discuss and take action on the selectmen's total operating budget of $58,393,677. I need somebody to move that. I have Pierre. I need a second. Bill, are we ready to vote? That's just saying we can add. Okay, I got that. Do you have a question, Holly? Or we're all voting?
Yeah, just voting, no question.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
I just want to, can I clarify what exactly are we voting on at this moment? I know.
We're
originally
voting
what I was
on
voting-
the total Board of Selectmen operating budget of
Okay.
58 mil plus.
Yes, I saw that on the printed. I already looked at that report. Yep.
Okay. So all in favor, raise your hand and say aye, and we can move on to the next. That's great. That's in favor.
Laura says aye.
Thank you, Laura.
Laura Pesco says aye.
Louisa's muted. Oh, there she is. Oh, you're not muted anymore. You're at your desk. Cool.
No, she's there. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad they can see this screen. I can't.
Counting the number of stars in the sky to equate to the
Yeah, that wasn't what I was
education
sharing.
budget.
Let's get back to what I do want to share. Okay. There we go. Much better. All those screensavers that I don't like that they keep on saying no to. All right, so here's the Board of Ed budget, going from 23 over to the adopted. When you see revised over there, that includes some of the transfers that the Board of Ed has made during the course of their year. It still ends up with same total expenses, ECR and everything, but they do transfer between different accounts. The Board of Ed budget this year is up 4.92%. Where I'm trying to do an analysis, I can't promise that I'm going to get it done in time. But I'm looking for both the town and the Board of Ed side for what their operating budgets were, what their capital requests were, what incremental off-cycle funding they got, what their debt service is, what revenues they had. So part of the revenue in the town side is really educational cost sharing that'll go back to the Board of Ed. And then what they returned, so we can see the budget of what the real compound annual growth rate is. It also shows what we're actually spending on schools. One of the things that Beth and I talked about earlier today is that when we've spoken to some of the folks that were in the Board of Ed audience, because the debt is sitting on another budget, they're not seeing the growth in the debt as being part of the support in the schools and what we're paying for. So this is one of the things that we asked the Board of Ed to do, is to provide this as part of their first part of their budget book. But we want to see if we can possibly get that in and show it to discuss what's going on. So in this particular case, Beth, you're gonna put something together on the Board of Ed operating budget and give the report on that?
That's right.
You sound so excited.
It'll be great.
All right. So I need somebody to move the Board of Ed operating budget for $125,760,223. Do I have Beth moving? I don't see anybody. Beth, tell me who's seconding this.
Bill Dunn seconding
Okay,
it.
Bill Dunn. Let me stop sharing. All right, all those in favor? Fine, that passes. I thank you, Laura. Okay, item 2514E is the total appropriation for the general fund. You're going to see that when we go and look for the mill rate, we do capital separately, and we do the general fund separately. So this is basically the Board of Selectmen budget that includes the library grant and the debt service and the education operating budget. And it comes to 1,184,153,900. And again, that's showing that we can add D and C, which is actually double checked several times just to make sure we
Just added
can.
it again for you.
I'm sorry?
I said I added it again for you so I can vote.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That I will tell you every time Jen shows me this to me, I do the same. And you know, I guess we did that for the library also and found out that it didn't add. So do I have somebody moving the you know what, on this total appropriation, since Pierce says that it adds, we can do this by acclamation. Just everybody say aye.
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 So now we're going to get to something that I'm going to read just because the way it was done created a little bit of a problem. So give me a second and this is the grand list as it is now, stands corrected. When the Board of Finance voted on determining the mill rates, they had a mill rate, they had a grand list of 11,189,083,966 and resulted in a combined mill rate of capital and general funds of 15.50. We subsequently realized that a final grand list was subsequently given to Jen, totaling 11,207,583,884, which changed the mill rate from 1550 to 1548. So on the floor of the RTM, I need somebody to first move, just pull out two names of the original that says 1550 and the 11 million. So who's moving that?
So wait, you want us to approve or move?
No, I'm not approving anything yet.
Okay.
We just need to move yeah, let me not share anymore. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna move the resolution 2514F as it was originally sent. Just move that. And so I need to move it and get a second. Once we do that, I'm gonna read the amendment to that, which we have to move in second. And then we do the revised, the amended mill here. So it's like three resolutions we're gonna go through because they haven't done this.
And not to go over the,
Sorry,
why are we moving to approve the first one when we're gonna amend it?
we're not approving it, we just have to move it. We have to put it on the floor so we can discuss it.
Oh, I see. So we just put it on the floor for discussion. Okay, got it.
Right. So I
Okay.
need somebody to move and second the
So
first.
moved.
Here, and Bill. Okay. All right. So with that, I amend the following. Whereas the town of Darien Representative Town Meeting has been notified that the last complete grand list of the town of Darien with the total net assessment value of the property as of October 1st, 2024 was modified subsequent to the Board of Finance vote on April 8th, 2025. And whereas the last complete grand list of the town of Darien is now a total assessment of $11,207,583,884 on property as of October 1st, 2024. Be it hereby resolved that the mill rate is 15.48 mills to be levied upon the last complete grand list of the town of Darien with the total assessment value of $11,207,583,884 on the property as of October 1st, 2024. Do I have somebody moving that?
So moved.
I have Louisa and I have Mike seconding. All those in favor of the amendment? Okay, so that passes. Okay, so now we're going to vote on the amended mill rate, which nobody reads this as fast as John Zagroski. That was the joke when Ellen was trying to read this. Okay. Resolved that the mill rate is 1548 mills is hereby levied on the last complete grand list of the town of Darien with the total net assessment value of $11,207,583,884 on the property as of October 1st, 2024, payable in two equal semi-annual installments. The first installment to become due and payable on July 1st, 2025, and the second installment to become due and payable on July 1st, 2026, provided that, however, any taxpayer may pay both of said installment on July 1st, 2025. The personal property tax on motor vehicles in said town shall be due and payable in one single installment on July 1st, 2025. Any property in the amount not in excess of $100 shall become due and payable in one single installment on July 1st, 2025. Faster than Palin, still not as fast as Jay-Z. Do I have somebody moving that? I have Pear. Do I have a second on that? I have Charles P. Okay. So now we're voting on what the mill rate is. It's 1548. And that decreases the increase from 5.5% to 5.36%. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that passes. Oh my goodness. We're going through this quickly. Okay. On 2514G is to authorize the borrowing of up to $5 million. This is a borrowing based upon future collection of taxes. We do this every year. During COVID, it was actually increased to 10 million. And in the entire time that I've been here, we've never borrowed. We don't pay for the line of credit. It's just that we are authorizing that they can if we need to. So I need somebody to move that. I have Mike and Laura, I'm having you move it. Just need to raise your hand. There we go. So we're ready to vote. If there's not any questions on that, so all in favor, raise your hand. Okay, that passes unanimously. Okay, next one. And I'm doing some work on this. Because I'm trying to track down the Grand Island Management Fund since its inception to record all of the expenses and tie it in. It is a fund that we keep open from year to year. There is a transfer that goes in there. The current year's transfer is 225. Next year's transfer is 76, I believe, 712. The transfer from the general fund to cover those expenses are only used if we need to use them. So while we're authorizing transfer, we don't necessarily, which we did previously in the operating budget, it's not actually transferred unless the fund needs it. What we are doing here is approving the appropriations for each of these funds to spend this money. For Great Island, it's 340,853. I've asked Mark Adeletter, who's the RTM GIAC, our Great Island representative there, to discuss this. I'm still working with him on it. The 3 sewer funds will be discussed by Public Works. Same for the 2 parking funds. And Park and Rec will discuss the Recreation Program Fund, which actually is closed out as we accept the net revenue at the end of the sewer. Things are self-contained. All the expenses and that are done by those who are hooked up to the sewer and pay our assessments. You're not hooked up to the sewer, you don't pay assessments. These funds don't affect you tax-wise. Parking funds are handled by the collection of what we have there, including the capital. So we vote on all of these. I'll do an introduction, but it's a single resolution to authorize the appropriation on these 7 funds. So I need somebody to move that. I have Peter D, you're moving it because I saw you move your hand. So
I have one quick
that was
question.
good enough.
Do we
Sure.
have a sheet that we're looking at for these 7 different?
Wait,
Alex,
hold on.
Do we have a sheet that
Laura, are
shows?
you on with your phone too?
I am, because I'm afraid that once I have to get off.
I just muted your phone, so go
There we
ahead.
go.
Okay. Is there a sheet, a one sheet that's showing the numbers on this?
Yes, it's part, if you're looking for what the budget is on this, this one sheet is part of the operating fund that's going to be on the resolution. So that's the one sheet. If you want the detail on it, then that's reviewed by Public Works. We don't review it, and they've looked at it in detail, and will be giving us a report of what it constitutes.
Okay, what's the title of the document, or?
No, it's just it's 2514H, other
okay.
appropriations.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, okay, are we ready to vote on this? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Raise your hand. You can't say aye because otherwise, Laura, you counted twice.
That was
All right.
mine.
I'll sorry. it's been a long budget process, you know.
You're flying through this. It's good.
Yeah, I actually am. So, the last, I'll move on. Our new family member, he's about, we just rescued him about 3 weeks ago. Actually was rescued from I-95 running across it.
Yeah.
And so he's about 12 to 18 months old and is every bit of a kitten. So, anyway. And I haven't given him attention for this, like having a toddler for everyone here. So I haven't given him attention in 15 minutes. So he's stopping by. The last item is 2515 appropriation of 154,835,000 for refunding of certain of the town's bonds and authorizing issuance of refunding bonds to refinance or to finance such appropriation. This started probably about 10 or 12 years ago. No, probably started about 15 years ago, where we weren't doing a refunding resolution. And Bill Smith, you may recall this, and that there was a refunding opportunity, but since they couldn't get to the RTM in time, we lost that opportunity. So what we now do is say, here's the portfolio. Guys, if there's a refunding opportunity that saves the town money, do it. So if they do refund it, they're not coming back to us. We will see that they did refund it and report it to the RTM. So I need somebody to move that. I have Peter, I'm going to take you again. And Louisa, I'm taking you. All in favor? Say aye. We're good to go. I'm not going to do minutes tonight because I'm trying to see if we can get this done in an hour. That's also, Laura, I told you it would be about an hour in this one, an hour to an hour and a half, depending on conversation. I want to thank everybody
Motion
for
to
what's
defer your
going
minutes,
on
Jack?
in this budget season. Not to embarrass you, although last year Bill had a cast on and I made him stand up. But I will ask everyone to stand so that the RTM sees our Finance and Budget Committee and the members thereof. So just be aware of that. And I am going to do some write-up. I did a real brief write-up on that. Some of the stuff you're going to hear will be more detail on next Monday. But I want to thank everyone for showing up for all the meetings. I want to thank everyone for reading all the items that we have. And, without question, we do a lot of meetings on our own. And then we also have the meetings of the the Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, Education. Pierre actually made everyone but one of the Board of Finance meetings. I know other people have listened to that. Beth makes virtually every one of the Board of Ed meetings. And Laura, you also make quite a few of the Education Committee, Board of Education Board meetings as well. So for all your guys' work, thank you very much. It is now 8:23. And I'll take a motion to adjourn this meeting. I have Charles P. And I need a second so we can adjourn. I have Bill Smith. When I get the final document of all this put together, it should be included in a package that's going out on Thursday. So all in favor of adjourning, raise your hand. Thank you all. And I'll see you on Monday. Beth, you'll get me a copy of what you're going to say on that, and Pierre and Louisa, and then the two of you can decide who's going to give the report. All right, it's not going to be me. So I appreciate that. All right, we're going to stop the recording. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.